Hey everybody, it's Grant. A little less than 10 months ago, I made a video that showed how I make $182,000 per year in real estate. Now, I've gotten a bunch of requests on an update on this, so here we are with a update literally 10 months later, how I make over $400,000 per year in real estate through passive income. In today's video, I'm going to give you a quick recap on how I got started in real estate, how my properties have progressed, and I'm going to highlight a lot of my properties and recent purchases that have allowed me to make such amazing and passive income. For those of you that are seeing me for the very first time, or if you're new to the channel, let me give you a little backstory on me. So I started out selling cars whenever I was 18 years old, and I was also attending college. What ended up happening is, as I made my income grow, I said, you know what? My mom won't let me have girls in my room. So I did the most logical thing. I ended up buying half of a duplex and moving in, and I got some extra freedom. It wasn't super expensive, but I kind of felt like I was doing it wrong. I ended up then buying some land and building a duplex at age 19, where I lived in one side, rented the other side, and virtually eliminated all of my housing expenses. Not only that, I also have hired over 100 salespeople in my career, and as I grew, my income grew with it. I became a finance manager, then sales manager, and then now I'm the director of over 11 brands. And one thing that I'm extremely proud of is that out of all that 100 salespeople, I've actually gotten 19 managers promoted, and many of those managers have become top performers and made huge incomes for them as well as their families. One manager in particular who watches this channel has consistently made over $200,000 a year since being promoted. So as the person who brought them into the store, trained them, and encouraged them along the way, it really means a lot. So I just want to give you a little backstory on me, so that way you understand that I am relatively qualified. Even though these videos are for entertainment purposes, I just wanted to let you know that, I can hopefully inspire you to hit some goals. I've now been doing real estate for nearly 14 years, and another thing that I've shared with you in previous videos is I have a very successful family. The duplex that I bought half of came from my brother, and I've watched all these amazing real estate journeys through my life. My father was very successful before he passed away. I very, very, very much was blessed that I had so many positive figures in my life. So hopefully I can be that same positive figure to you, encourage you, and show you maybe you don't need a $11 or $15 million real estate portfolio, but I can definitely help you along the way to get started and to understand that you can do it. So now that I've given you some backstory on me, let's go ahead and talk about some of the last few years of my real estate journey and how my portfolio has absolutely exploded, as well as some recent purchases that have taken my passive income to new heights. So something that I've said on this channel time and time again is that I truly believe real estate is a building effect. So much like Dave Ramsey talks about the debt snowball effect, he just says pay off a small amount of debt, your smallest amount of debt, and then pay off the next one and pay off the next one. And you're going to get more and more excited. You're going to understand that you can do more. And that snowball, that little bitty snowball, will eventually grow into something much larger. So in this example, just like in debt, real estate can do the same. It might start off small, but as it goes and it grows, it'll take less effort from you to push it down the hill, and it'll grow and grow and grow over time, not necessarily with just your income, but with the rental property income, with the tenant paying the mortgages. And this will build. And eventually, it won't take near as much effort from you, because it'll start taking its own momentum to make this thing into something truly special. So before we get into my recent years where my portfolio has really started to take shape, let me show you how my portfolio originally started to snowball. So as I said earlier, I was 18 years old. My mother would not let me have girls in my room. And I laugh when I say this, because this is how my real estate journey actually started. It all started because of that one fun fact. And so I ended up buying half of a duplex, which means I had one unit and then the other unit was owned by someone else. And I might have had a little extra freedom. My mortgage wasn't that expensive, but this property was not a investment. It was a liability because it took money out of my pocket. It produced no income, so therefore I couldn't start my snowball effect. However, at 19, I got a little smarter. I ended up making, at the end of my year at being 19, over $75,000. So my income was growing every single month. I was doing better. My owner base in the car business was building. So I said, you know what? I want to be smart with my money. I don't want to just have this half of a very affordable duplex. And my note was like $555 a month. So it didn't bother me in the slightest because I was doing so well. I mean, we talk about a college kid making $75,000 a year. That's just dangerous. And so what ended up happening is I bought the land to build a duplex, built a duplex, lived in half, rented the other half, eliminated my monthly housing expense. So now I have freed up my monthly housing expense. I was renting them for $850 back then, and that's about what my expenses were. They were right at $790. So here's the thing. On the whole duplex, $555, $790. Start to make sense yet? I'm just saying, house hacking before house hacking was cool is what I was doing. And so now I had $850, right? Let's just say the monthly rent. I had $850 that I could either blow or I could invest into future properties and be smart and make this thing into something special. This is how my snowball effect started. I lived in this duplex for 4 years of my life, and what ended up happening when I was 22 years old, I got promoted and I literally broke every record in the company's history. I made more income than anyone else before me, and the reason was because from bell to bell I was there, never said no, and I've always had the same personality you see here on YouTube, and especially if someone's spending money with me for an automobile. So I spoiled myself. And I also had gotten married at this time. I am no longer married, and Kayla Vizina is the love of my life, but I ended up getting married and building my first home, and I ended up taking the apartment that I was living in, and I ended up using that rent to pay my actual mortgage. At this time, I was renting the apartments for $1,000 a month as things inflated over time, and my mortgage was $990. I consider this house hacking at its finest. And since I brought this up earlier, I guess I'll go ahead and cover this. I ended up getting divorced at 24 years old, and the reason I bring this up is just to show you that, you know, the marriage didn't work out and I'm not perfect, but at the same time, would I have been any farther along than I am now? I really don't think so. We were married for a very short period of time, and we were friends for 11 years before that, like literally middle school. So the reason I bring that up is just to show you that I've made mistakes, I'm not perfect, and I've had things that have failed in the past. But at 26, I ended up building my first complex, and I call it a complex because it was 5 units. Those 5 units not only put me at age 26 to millionaire status. First thing I did was I called my mom. I didn't know what else to do, wrote it down, did the math. I was like, oh, whew. And then my life didn't change. I just had one more thing to check off and get me excited. And what ended up happening is these 5 units taught me that I can do more. These 5 units taught me that I can handle more. And these 5 units got me extremely excited. And I don't know if my ears are red right now, but they are on fire. Maybe it's because I said what I just said and Kayla heard me, but yeah, maybe she won't watch this video. She's the love of my life, and I would never be where I am right now without her support, and all the things she puts up with. And I also help her because she's also the real estate agent on all of these deals, or at least after she became one when I was like 29. So what ended up happening next, those 5 units ended up bringing in $6,000 a month. Their mortgage, all expenses and everything on a 20-year commercial rate at 4%, plus all my expenses was $3,500 a month. And that is on the high side. Now remember, I manage all of my properties with the help of Kayla by ourselves. So I fill 95% of all the calls. She helps me. She keeps the plumbers in check. But we do this because I always like to say I can't afford that 10%. I have made a lot of sacrifices in my life so that way I can get that next journey, that next property, that next complex that much sooner. So that means that with $6,000 of total income, $3,500 in expenses, I had a net passive income of $2,500 a month that I could either blow, right? Or invest in more properties and keep pushing that snowball. It's crazy to think that that one deal That very one deal nets me $2,500 a month, which is $30,000 a year in passive income. When you really start to look at it and put them together, it starts to add up. And I'm telling you, real estate is one of the absolute best businesses you could ever be a part of. And you might actually recognize this property that you're seeing because I ended up building an entire duplex here on this channel. And the reason I wanted to build a duplex, not only did I have the land that was remaining from this deal, so I didn't have to spend any money on the land, so it made this ROI even better. But I also wanted to build an attainable project that you could do at home. I ended up building this duplex between $175,000 and $180,000, maybe a little bit more. I don't remember the numbers quite perfectly, but I'm telling you, that was without land, and I did that in 2020. But as I said, this property with the new 5 units got me excited. So what it ended up making me do next was I was going to use something more than just that excitement. I was going to put my high income that I was building and earning at the dealership in to more real estate with the power of leverage. So now let's fast forward from 2008 18-year-old Grant all the way to 2019 19-year-old Grant. My rental income had now grown to over $15,600 in gross rents, and I had a total of 15 rental properties. One of my most recent purchases is this one right here. This is Walker, or where I bought an older property for $350,000, but I got 8 units for that price. It was an amazing deal. The property is from 1976, but I absolutely want to make this property updated over time. Even though it won't bring up my rental income, it'll still make the property easier to rent. So instead of me meeting someone out there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, they'll rent it on the second or third time. And not only that, this property brings in over $8,000 a month, and it has very little cost involved. On top of all of that, I was very concerned about the maintenance here because I build a lot of build and keep real estate, a lot of new stuff, a lot of newer property acquisitions. And this one really surprised me that it really didn't have as much of a headache as I thought it would. So not only do I want to link that video as well in the description, and I'm only doing this so you have a compiled video log of all these videos if you want to go watch them, but I also renovated 2 of these units for only $6,500 a unit, and I turned those units from here to here. So as you can see, it's absolutely beautiful. You owe it to yourself to go check it out. So from build and keep real estate to buying older properties and renting them out for about how they are, to updating those older properties to make them easier to rent and to get the high dollar rent that you're looking for or the fair market value, it's all right here on this channel. So I do hope that you don't forget to power up that like button, hit that subscribe button and notification bell, and hit all so you'll see all of these amazing videos that I spent a lot of time working on for you. So it's amazing to see where I started this channel and I only had 10 to 13 units, and I've turned it into something truly special right here with you. When I actually label it Grant's Journey to 100 rental units, I mean it. I really want to hit that number, and at the end of this year, we're gonna be really close. So here's the thing. In 2020, my snowball turned into something absolutely extraordinary. It turned into a small avalanche. Even after the illness, and I personally got it, I was hospitalized, double pneumonia, and I became septic. It literally almost took me out, and I wouldn't be able to make these videos with you. 2 hurricanes that devastated my area, literally hurt everybody when it comes to financially, their home, and it really put a big toll. We just had a flood and an ice storm. Nonetheless, with the 2020 shutdown that we all have experienced. But even through all of this, I finished out 2020 with 31 units that bring in over $33,500 a month in total gross rents. And with that $33,500 in income per month, I now bring in over $402,000 in gross rents, passive income that allows me to help my family, take care of my family, provide quality housing for several others, continue to grow my portfolio, and make sure that I give everyone the good deal with the affordable rate that I always have. But since 2020, my snowball or small avalanche has not stopped yet. Since 2020 ended, I picked up my very first shopping center that I actually bought right here in front of you here on the channel. I went over the numbers, the deal, the thought process, the location, and everything. And that shopping center ended up being kind of like those apartments, those 5 apartments that taught me I could do more, I can handle more, and to get me excited. This one has been a little bit longer of an excitement because to rent a shopping center, it takes a little longer. I went into this knowing it was going to take at least a year to get it full, and we're about to get our first tenant, which is very exciting. However, that first tenant is me, where we're going to be building my second main squeeze juice shop ever, and I'm going to be my first tenant, so that way I have a good quality tenant, me, and my business is going to always make money because I will make money as the landlord as well as hopefully the business, because it does amazing. However, keep in mind, this channel is not going to just show you all the wins and none of the losses. I even shared something very personal with you here. But this shopping center, being that it's unrented, the mortgage alone is $6,000 a month. And then the monthly expenses between water, landscape, a little bit of maintenance here and there, ends up costing, with property tax, $1,700 a month. So every month that this property is unrented, it costs me $7,700. So just keep in mind that I always build up my real estate portfolio so I can take a little bit more risks, not so I can increase my lifestyle. So, you know, if you're willing to work the way I have, this thing can really pan out. You can expand, but if you spend the money, then it's just gone. It's in all that stuff that we have in that garage, that room, or that shelf that we really don't need. And we all have at least a drawer. I told you 2021 was going to be absolute jam-packed full of amazing content with all kinds of celebrity guest appearances. We have done everything that I told you we would. I'm building it all here and buying it all here and doing it all right here, investing it all right here for you. And as I told you, we have so many projects coming, and I'm about to be starting my next 8 here at the same complex that it was my first 2 videos. Go back and look at them. I didn't even have a microphone yet. I ended up buying a 4-plex with the land to build 16 more units. The new 8 are part of that 16, and then the ones we just broke ground, put a slab, and they just started framing, and I'm gonna do it all for you. We just started that. That'll be the first time I've finished a major complex. Talk about an avalanche that's coming in the year of 2021, and it is going to absolutely push us and give us a ton of momentum that not even from me to bring us into 2022, 2023, and many, many years to come. So with everything I've shared with you all the way to the point of 2020 and all of the amazing deals that are still working and being rented and being built for 2021, my next property update is going to be an absolute catastrophic avalanche. And it literally started with 1 snowball, or 1 duplex, if you will. So that being said, that's it for the video, guys. If you enjoy videos like this, please power up that like button, hit that subscribe button and notification bell. We always post on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I say we because Kayla, Dylan, we're always on this channel working hard to provide you with the absolute best content we can. I try to respond to every single comment that you post. So drop me a comment. I will get back to you. Also, remember, I 100% believe in you. I know you can do anything you set your mind to, and never let anyone tell you any differently. I hope you have a fantastic afternoon, and I will see you on the next one.